This is All India Radio. In the program Surkhiyon Mein, we now bring you Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh's inaugural address at Good Governance Week campaign.
To underline some of the highlights that have been over the last few years so that we realize how we have reached where we have reached today. The journey began and brought us where we are. To recall that, we have to recall that soon after Shri Narendra Modi took over as Prime Minister in 2014, one of the first mantras that he gave us was maximum governance and minimum government. And one of the first tasks that he assigned to us was to implement this mantra. And looking back today, I think we have managed to reasonably walk the talk, and the credit for this goes most of all to the team ARPG. When we came into the government, it was not a very visible department in Government of India. Nobody even knew where ARPG is located. They have now made it visible pan-India. And then when we talk of good governance, the first and the foremost objective of good governance, as we understand, as we have tried to understand, research and study over the years, is to bring in ease of living in the life of a common man. Because if ultimately governance is aimed at that objective, no amount of whatever we do in offices is going to make a difference to the society. And this government, I think, was very clear, at least Honorable Prime Minister was very clear, and it was not difficult for us because we had a very illustrious example in the form of Prime Minister himself. We just had to emulate what he was saying, what he was doing. And I think the earliest indication of the declaration of intent that he wanted to make was when just within 3 months after the government came in, we did away with an old age practice from the British legacy, that of getting the documents attested, and the self-attestation was introduced. And we sent out a loud message that here was a government headed by Prime Minister Modi, which had the capacity, the courage, and the confidence to trust the youth of this country. And therefore that was our intent, to bring in ease in the working of a common man. And the second most important objective of good governance is to ensure equal opportunity to all, or a level playing field to all. That also came from none less than the Prime Minister himself when addressing the nation from the ramparts of Red Fort on the 15th of August 2015. He announced that the interviews to the recruitments would be abolished so that no more allegations of any nepotism or any partiality having been done, and level playing for all. And if the third objective is citizen centricity, I think the most prominent illustration of that is the grievance cell, which is again being looked after by ARPG, has now been linked with most of the states. When we came in 2014, because unless we draw comparison, nobody would know what has actually happened, because that is what the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein has stood the test of time. So when we came in 2014, the annual number of grievances being launched in the central cell was just about 2 lakhs. Today it is almost 25 lakhs. So it's been 12 times increase. And many of the states did have a grievance website, but it was never being visited. Today it is connected with the central CP ground. And if the fourth objective was ease of working or time-bound disposal of the issues, I think the most beautiful example is that of e-line working. In the last 6 years, almost 80% of the working, at least in Government of India, is e-line, and we didn't have to go far to vindicate ourselves. The vindication in its best form came in the COVID times, when, at least in the Ministry of Personnel, the work did not suffer even for a single day. And our work output actually went up in COVID. That does not mean that I wish COVID to continue. There was a junior officer in the department who told me, because I like to learn from all of them, he said, sir, new mantra should be minimum attendance, maximum output. So they were sitting at home but working on the weekdays, working on holidays. So they are not bound by timings. So that has also vindicated the kind of manner in which Prime Minister was repeatedly urging for digital working, which we didn't actually understand in the early years. But now it has proved to be a virtue for us. And today, as we stand and we move through the 75th year of independence and dedicate ourselves toward Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it is actually occasion for us to evaluate what has been achieved and also to plan for the next 25 years when independent India turns 100. And hence, this week, to reiterate ourselves to that cause, the Good Governance Week, which will no doubt culminate on the 25th of this month, but our pursuit of our goals will continue. So just as we observe Swachhata Week does not mean that we have to clean our lawn only during the Swachhata Week. So it's just a reiteration, but the pursuit will continue even beyond that, and we'll culminate this symbolic week to pledge ourselves, to dedicate ourselves with a grand conclusion ceremony, which will be presided by the Honorable Home Minister. And therefore, one of the first things which we learned when the Prime Minister was also keen that we should move out of the confines of the national capital was our experiment of having regional conferences and workshops. And I'm glad to share with you that the Department of Administrative Reforms headed by Shri Sanjay Singh and Shri Srinivas have virtually travelled all over India. They began from far up north, Leh, went to Srinagar, went to Jammu, went to Nagpur, went to Mumbai, recently they were guests of Devesh Chaturvedi at Lucknow. And as far as the CP Grams is concerned, today the central CP Gram is connected with 12 state portals already. Jammu Kashmir was the first state which went on this portal, that they symbolize the heralding of the journey of the One Nation, One portal. And now the JKI Grams is integrated down up to 260 departments and over 1700 district officers. Our grievance, as I said, has gone up to 25 lakhs per year. State websites have become active. CP Gram link, when we began in 2014, it was linked to just about 1,500 offices. Today it is 10,000 offices. We've gone almost 10 times higher. Just drawing a comparison with what was existed about 7 to 8 years back before the Modi government came in. And as far as the subordinate officers are concerned, we were in 2014 connected with just 10,000. Today we are connected with 68,000. So we are 68 times higher. There are a number of other reforms I am not going to detail. We have the automatic railway ticket collection. We have e-verification, one nation, one ration card. We have the JAM portal. We introduced biometry to do away with the life certificate. And very recently, last week, when we found that the biometry was also accompanied with certain hassles, with the old age, the wrinkles also get changed, the wrinkling of the marks. So we have introduced the latest technology, which is that of face identification technology, which is connected to Aadhaar. You just place your face before the mobile. So these are some of the game-changing, revolutionary steps. And to those who keep talking of the interest of the weaker section of women, I think a very novel, and I'm glad that it came to us, the idea of introducing some relaxations for the family pension for the separated daughters, because earlier on, a separated daughter had to secure a divorce judgment, which doesn't happen. We know so many families with divorce cases have gone on and on for 10 years. So we have relaxed that. The only evidence that we would require is that she has filed a petition so that there is no room left for any misappropriation. And of course, the electronic PP orders we have. Good governance index has been introduced, capacity building programs, and our Swachhata Abhiyan, or Swachhata program, which lasted from 2nd October to 31st October, was actually an eye-opener, not only for the government sector, even for the rest of the society. We have earned 62 crore rupees through the Abhiyan. So if you keep repeating these figures, the other departments also say you carry on with this so that we keep earning. We never thought, we had never actually imagined that we would be doing so. In the next first 2-3 days when the calculation was made, it was just about 20 crore. After another 2 days, it is 40 crore. I didn't know how it had doubled. So being a researcher and a student of science, I wanted to learn, and I realized, which I think something with the even society must be made to aware of. I was telling this to some media person yesterday. We are actually making money from the electronic scrap, which we never realized. And when I said this yesterday, sharing with some of the media people, he said, yes, in our house itself, we have 10 mobile phones lying idle. So you take the new one, put the SIM card, discard it. You don't realize that if you sell off this in the market, there are good Samaritans there who would assemble it and sell it off again and give you the price. And we had in the government offices so many of discarded computers. So simply from that, we earned 62 crore rupees, and 12 lakh square feet of the space was vacated, which is equal to 2 Nirvan Bhavans. I think this is a message. That's why I keep saying repeatedly, not only governance reforms that the Modi government has brought in, these are reforms with a huge social implication. I hope the society would also learn from these experiments that have been conducted in the Department of ARPG and the Ministry of Personnel. The new designation of assistant secretaries was introduced. PM Excellence Award has been given an overall. Earlier it was individual based, now it is district based. Mission Karma Yogi, of course, is going to be very ambitious, and the NRA, the National Recruitment Agency, with the common eligibility test, which we hope to hold in the beginning of next year. We missed the timeline this year because of the COVID, which is a huge game changer, particularly for those who come from disadvantaged socioeconomic background, particularly for the girl aspirants who cannot travel simultaneously to 3 places to take 3 exams. So they'll have one eligibility test, like something based on the lines of CET for admission or IIT. And therefore, I would just sum up saying that under Prime Minister Modi, we have undertaken a constant endeavor to make governance a facilitatory tool and not an impediment to bring ease of living for the common man. And I hope at the end of the day, when we have accomplished what we wish to accomplish, we would not have done good only to ourselves, to the department, to the ministry, but to the society as a whole. Thank you very much.
You were listening to Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh's inaugural address at Good Governance Week campaign. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio.